Hey, family. Welcome to Put Your Dukes Up Reactions. Simply translate to you got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. With that one being said, this one here aggravates me personally, but I want to see what y'all think. You know, parents, you got to stay on top of your game. Ain't no snoozing with kids, period.
Playing no whole shit. He on that slow shit. If you yeah. Gotta throw a party for my day one. They ain't in the no say cheese.
Say cheese, he cheese and mine. I'll just keep on moving.
I just got a video. Canali. I was gonna hit your little bit of car. That ain't no real car though. That ain't no real car, little boy.
Fine, we can't agree on everything. If we did, the world would be at a better place for sure. Now, with that being said, this video right here is going to divide the room. And I definitely want to know your thoughts at the end. See, I was working on this story about three brothers who lost their lives to gun violence. And to this day, their mother is still fighting for justice. The latest happened this past weekend. Let's just say that's a story that's going to be a little more in-depth and requires a little more time. But while I was working on this story, another case just took a turn, a case that many family members reached out and wanted me to look into. Now, I posted the surveillance footage, which we'll later check out in this video on the Family TV Instagram. But after this update, I had to bring it to you guys' attention. Within the last 24 hours, a Memphis mother accused of taking the life of a young child in a case that had social media in an uproar has now had her charges dropped. And here's where it gets tricky, because online, a lot of people weren't blaming her. They were pointing the finger at the child's own mother. Both sides have spoken out. Both sides went to social media. And now in the case, it's being seen two completely different ways. Some people call it justice. Others are calling it a failure of the system. So today, we're going to break down the facts. No bias, no extras, and let you decide for yourself. And after this, we're going back to that story about those three brothers. But before we go over this one, I want you guys to remember, I won't give you no angle. I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We'll jump right to it. Fam, it's hard to say imagine something because most of us wouldn't allow this in the first place. But just really imagine this for the sake of this video. Imagine one evening, your child lose their life. And in the process, you want justice. But in return, you get arrested. Well, that's what we have here today. You see, this past Thursday, on March 12th, 2026, in the streets of Frazier, Memphis, it was quiet. The sun began to set. But that calm was shattered by a tragedy that would forever change the lives of one family. 6-year-old Kanai Thomas. He had been playing near the road with his friends. His laughter echoed through the neighborhood when the vehicle suddenly struck them. The impact sent him tumbling to the ground, and in an instant, his innocent, joyful life was altered forever. Witnesses rushed to his side, but the damage was done. The child, barely old enough to understand the dangers of the world, was left struggling in the street as the life drained him. His friends was too young to fully grasp the horror, washed in shock and confusion as the scene unfolded before their eyes. Memphis police were quickly called to the scene, arriving within minutes to find a heartbreaking scene. Kanai was unconscious and gravely injured, his body battered by the vehicle's impact. He was immediately rushed to a local children's hospital, one of the best hospitals in the city, in hopes that doctors could save him. Authorities quickly identified the driver. She stayed on the scene, 28 years old, Keontae Ghost. But the thing is, she had a suspended license. But the most important thing is that she stayed on the scene and held that baby until local authorities came. But here's where things get tricky. The mom, Lakeisha Thomas, she had the nerve to release the surveillance footage, I guess insinuating that she had her eyes by camera on her child. But we're talking about a young kid playing near the street where cars are speeding if going by law in that neighborhood at 35 miles per hour. And people was pissed that that child was left out there for that long. Because as you see in the camera footage, there was multiple times where it seemed that child was making his way towards the street, and yet no adult came outside.
A breaking news update now. Family and friends are in mourning tonight after a 6-year-old boy is killed after sadly being hit by a car in Fraser. Police say the little guy was hit at the intersection of Signal Street and Whitney Avenue and later died at Le Bonheur. A driver was arrested and charged. WRG's Mike Suriani is live at MPD's Austin Peay station with reaction to this horrifying set of circumstances. Mike?
Hey, good afternoon, Greg. Yes, a very sad situation. A 6-year-old boy struck and killed Thursday just feet away from his home on Whitney Avenue in Fraser. Now, family's still too upset to talk to me, but a neighbor described what she heard and saw Thursday.
Well, I was walking through the house and I heard an impact and I thought it was a car wreck.
Helen Carter lives on Whitney Avenue in Fraser, close enough Thursday afternoon to see and hear neighbors traumatized after a young boy was struck by a car.
When I came out, his family was screaming and running up and down the street, and she said a 6-year-old baby was hit by the car. All I know is she said he was playing with a ball. That's all I know. And they were crowded over there, and they were covering him up, and cars were everywhere.
According to Memphis police, the youngster was in the westbound lane of Whitney Avenue when he was struck by a car going west on Whitney near Signal Street. The driver of the car, identified as 23-year-old Kenyante Goss, remained on the scene and was charged with driving while license suspended, revoked, or canceled, and financial responsibility law violation. The youngster was pronounced deceased at Le Bonheur Children's Hospital. Helen Carter still can't believe what happened and says vehicles are always speeding by her house and accidents are commonplace.
It was loud. It was a horrible impact. That's all I know. I was like, they done had a wreck out here again.
She says crashed vehicles normally end up in her front yard. Friday, no one in the victim's family wanted to speak about the 6-year-old, as balloons and stuffed animals are the only reminders of Thursday's chaos.
And it was covered with people. It was a lot of people. A couple vans came right here, and it was the National Guards that came out of the van, which shocked me. But it was a horrible scene.
Back out live. We checked, and Kenyante Goss was given a $10,000 bond, and she is scheduled to be in court Monday at 9 a.m. Reporting live for your news leader, Mike Suriani, WREG News Channel 3.
Heartbreaking news out of Fraser tonight. Mike, thanks.
So, fam, now you see, as any responsible adult would say, where was this child's parents? Well, the mom had went to Facebook and said the following. Yesterday, my son passed away. He was playing basketball, as he does every day, because he's going to break ankles when he grow up. I'm not speaking to no one, so respect that I don't want to talk. And 48 hours later, the suspect went to Facebook and said the following. This is not for no sympathy, but to the family, the mother, everyone who was affected yesterday, I'm sorry. I know sorry can't bring back baby boy, but if I could trade spots with that precious baby, I would in a heartbeat. I held him for 3 minutes, screaming to the top of my lungs, rocking him, praying that he made it. I was the last thing that baby seen before he closed his eyes forever. Not his mom, dad, family member, me, the person who did this. I promise this is gonna be with me forever. She also wrote in the comments, he was the same age as my son. He had so much life ahead of him. When I look at my son, I see him. When I close my eyes, I relive this, that innocent baby. Now, Lakeisha, the mom, she responded to that post by quoting, "This is the biggest lie I have heard all day." But the suspect, Gross, she realized that. She had a lot of support in the comments. And she wrote, "I have a village, and I didn't realize it until now. Thank you, everyone. I love every last one of y'all." But less than a week after Gross was charged with driving while license suspended, revoked, or canceled, and financial responsibility after hitting the little boy with her car at Signal Street and Whitney Avenue last Thursday, her charges were dropped. Police say Gross was traveling westbound on Whitney Avenue, as we mentioned, with the front end of her Chrysler 200 struck the victim, who was located in the westbound lane of traffic on Whitney Avenue.
Charges against a woman connected to a crash that killed a 6-year-old child. Kenyante Goss faces charges of driving on a suspended license and no insurance after a deadly wreck at Signal Street and Whitney Avenue. She faced those charges, I should say. Now investigators say the boy ran into the road to retrieve the ball and was struck and killed. Goss remained on the scene following the crash, and while prosecutors dropped the charges, the DA's office says the investigation is not.
Now, after Gross was released, she went to Facebook and said the following. This shit don't even feel like a celebration. Y'all, please give the mother grace. Pray for her soul. Give her strength. I just can't imagine how she feels reading this. But the mother wasn't buying it. And one of the things she wrote on Facebook was the following. I love the fuel to my explosion. The bomb done ticking. Shortly after Keontae Gross was released, the mother, Thomas, she was arrested after allegedly making death threats.
Bitch finna go to jail. Man, that's crazy. Ooh, that's crazy, fool. Thank God that they locked that little girl up. Bitch going to jail today.
Crazy how the turn of events went. As you heard, the DA said the investigation is not over, even though they dropped Gross charges. You can only assume that the mom might be charged soon to come for her own son's demise. Can you imagine that? Is it right? Is it wrong? I leave that to you guys. But fam, there you have it. This was the story of a young woman who's a young mom herself, driving without a license and insurance. End up hitting and killing a young kid who was trying to retrieve a basketball while playing in the street, unattended by an adult. She stayed on the scene and she helped until authorities got there. In return, her charges was dropped and the mom was later arrested for allegedly making death threats to her, with possibly soon more charges to come. Let me know how you guys feel about this one in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And to that,
Wow, family, you know, I send my condolences to the family. I know that little boy touched a lot of lives. Unfortunately, he had to lose his. Parents think that just because they son out there, you can't watch no child from a Ring camera. But again, I don't want to judge on this one. You know what I mean? Because parents have a hard job, mothers have a hard job. I just know when my seed was young, he was right next to me. I ain't let him get out of arm's reach. Y'all let me know how y'all think, what y'all think about it in the comments. And do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe to the next one, family. And do me a favor, what you give the earth give back. Each one teach one. Let's go.
Say no, crack kids, yeah, 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 yeah.